Well, look what we got here, a perfectly good YouTube channel.
It would be a shame if something were to happen to it.
Woohoo!
I leave for 1 friggin' second and... my channel!
Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and as I talked about in a previous video of mine, which was where are the modding videos, I was saying that I was going to make a rant video about the YouTube community guidelines and my experience with the strikes on here and what all has happened. Now, I covered it a good amount in that video, but I want to expand upon it and really rant on here because for some reason, people love seeing me mad, and I don't know why, but let's go ahead and get into this. So, in case anyone does not know, on June 8th, 2016, I received the first ever strike on this channel. Now, there's 2 types of strikes you can receive. You can get a copyright strike or a community guideline strike. And after this whole ordeal, I want to say, I really believe that, I've heard other people say this, but I do believe that community guideline strikes are worse than copyright strikes. You see what happens when you get a copyright strike, you get to see who actually put the strike in place. So let's say a certain company ended up striking down your video, you can contact that entity, you can contact that person, and if you still can't contact them, guess what? You can then end up appealing that strike, and you have to wait 14 days. And if it's not 14, it's about 14 days. Point is, if you wait an allocated amount of time, the strike will expire and you're good to go on your end. A community guideline strike, first off, they are so vague to the point where it is completely unfair and you don't know what is going on. And second, they are anonymous. You don't know who ended up flagging down your video. You don't know who put that strike in there. Third, you're not dealing with a certain entity. You are dealing with YouTube directly, and we all know how YouTube is, where they're just kind of faceless and really vague with all of their stuff. So I'm going to talk about what happened with that first strike. So on June 8th, as I said, when I received that strike, I got an email that said, "Hi, Mr. Mario 2011. As you may know, our community guidelines describe which content we allow and don't allow on YouTube. Your video, quote, how to set up and install Gateway 3DS 9.2.0 and below, unquote, was flagged for review. Upon review, we've determined that it violates our guidelines. We've removed it from YouTube and assigned a community guideline strike or temporary penalty to your account. The impact of strikes. This is the first strike applied to your account. We understand that users seldom intend to violate our policies. That's why strikes don't last forever. If you don't receive another strike for 6 months, your initial strike will expire. However, it's important to remember that additional strikes could prevent you from posting content to YouTube or even lead to your account being terminated." Now at this point, they end up saying how you can respond. If you believe this was a mistake, we'd love to hear from you. Please follow both these steps, as simply deleting the video won't resolve the strike on your account. And by the way, if you ever get one of these, do not delete the content. Do not delete the video, okay? Just don't. Trust me on that. The next time you sign in, you'll be asked to acknowledge a strike on your account. If you would like to appeal the strike, please visit the video manager section of your channel. Our team will thoroughly review your appeal and will contact you again very soon. Sincerely, the YouTube team. Now, when I went there, I saw that the video was taken down for violating YouTube's terms of use or terms of service, and it said that it was brought down for violating, because it said multiple things. It also said that it was a community guideline strike, so obviously I violated the community guidelines, and it also said that it was taken down for inappropriate behavior. So what we're gonna do right here is we're gonna go and check out the community guidelines that YouTube says that I allegedly violated, and we're gonna see what happened. So let's go ahead and debunk the video. And by the way, that only covered 1 video, but there were 3 videos that were removed for 1 strike. It was how to set up Gateway 3DS on 9.2 or below, how to set it up on 4.5 and below, and how to set up Sky 3DS. So first off, nudity or sexual content. Well, unless my hand counts as nudity, there was no nudity in that video. Violent or graphic content. There was absolutely no violent or graphic content in that video, or any of them. Hateful content. There was, again, no hateful content in the video. Spam, misleading metadata, and scams. This right here, I am very meticulous to look out for. First off, I don't spam videos. I don't spam tags in the description. Second, I don't do anything weird with the metadata. I make sure all of my metadata, like in the description, is relevant to the video itself. I make sure the title is relevant to the video itself. I make sure the tags are relevant to the video itself. I don't spam anything in there. I make sure nothing is misleading, and I've combed through my videos as well too to make sure that everything is good to go on that. And scams. Well, those videos weren't scams either. They were software tutorials showing you how to set up flashcards for the 3DS. Harmful or dangerous content. Again, nothing like that was harmful or dangerous in the process. Threats. there was no threats made in the video. And I end up skipping over this one because this is one I actually want to talk about, but copyright. Now it says right here, respect copyright, only upload videos that you made or that you're authorized to use. This means don't upload videos you didn't make or use content in your videos that someone else owns the copyright to, such as music tracks, snippets of copyrighted programs, or videos made by other users without necessary authorization. Visit our Copyright Center for more information. So there you end up running into an issue, which you kind of think about, but it didn't specifically say anything about these videos right here, and I claimed them to be in fair use. Therefore, I felt like they were in the right at the time. So 2 days later, on June 10th, I ended up submitting an appeal. And this is the first problem. I'm gonna get an example piece. Now, this is how bad the YouTube appeal system is for a strike. Okay, now this is what doesn't make sense to me. When you end up emailing YouTube supports, you end up getting about 1,000 characters to talk with and everything, right? When you end up doing a content ID match, like if you get a content ID match and you want to appeal it, I think you get, again, 1,000 characters. On here, you get about the length of 2 tweets. Now, think about it. A content ID match is just kind of a blemish on your channel, and you can end up removing that, and it's pretty easily. It doesn't really affect you, is what I'm trying to say. With a strike, that actually puts your channel at risk of getting shut down. And they give you the length of 2 tweets. That's about the same as saying, okay, let's say you go out to take a dump, right? Now, I know there's some people, like, in the world that they use, you know, a bidet or something. In the US here, we're stupid. We use toilet paper. Toilet paper is a horrible way to clean your butt, but just listen on this, right? That's like, imagine you just had a bunch of food and then you take a dump and they give you 2 squares to wipe yourself. This is not enough to explain yourself. This is not enough to absolve yourself of what has happened. Now again, I was dealing with 3 videos for 1 strike, right? So imagine I had like major diarrhea at this point and all I had was 2 squares. What am I gonna do with 2 squares? All right, calm. Point is right here, all I could do was wait. So what happened was I put in that appeal and I was kind of waiting, and I didn't hear anything back from it. So some of the restrictions that it put on my channel were, for example, I couldn't use external annotations, I couldn't access, you know, my branding or anything of the sort, or my featured videos, I couldn't upload long form videos longer than 15 minutes, and also I could not live stream. Now the only thing that really affected for me was my long form videos, because even with this video right here, it's probably longer than 15 minutes. I ended up noticing, though, I was still able to upload videos that were longer than 15 minutes. I render out in MP4, H.264, and I upload as unlisted, and then I change all the metadata and everything, and then later on I set it to public. For some reason, I was able to upload long-form videos, so I don't know what happened there. So for some people that might be questioning that, that's why I was able to upload my podcast. That's why I was able to upload 20 or 30-minute videos, because for some reason, I was still able to upload just fine. Now, everything seemed to be fine. I said at this point, okay, cool, I'm probably not going to get over it, so let me just wait on this, let's see what's going on. 3 weeks after that first one, so this is now June 29th, I end up getting a second strike. On this one, it said, "Hi, Mr. Mario 2011. As you may know, our community guidelines, we already know what it's about. The video was how to downgrade your 3DS using Gateway 3DS on 9.2 or below." So again, another Gateway 3DS video was taken down. And it says the impact of strikes. This is the second strike applied to your account within 6 months. As a result, you're unable to post new content to YouTube for 2 weeks. If there are no further issues, the ability to upload will be automatically restored after this 2-week period. However, it's important to understand that if you receive a third strike within 6 months, we'll terminate your account, rendering it permanently inaccessible. And then it says here, friendly enough, we understand that users seldom intends to violate our policies. That's why strikes don't last forever. If you don't receive another strike for 6 months, your initial state will expire. So at this point, I'm pretty livid, right? Because I'm like, okay, I have 2 strikes on my channel at once. If I have 1 more strike before December, the channel's gone. It's over. It's terminated. That's it. So what happened was then I immediately appealed it, and I said, no, this video right here is a software tutorial using a flashcard on a closed source system. And showing how to downgrade the operating system on there. I did not violate any of the community guidelines on there. I did not put in anything inappropriate. Please explain this to me, because I feel like this was in the wrong right here. That's what I contacted my network about. I ended up contacting YouTube support about that. My partner manager, I contacted him about that as well too. Now, my YouTube, my multi-channel network, I'm part of Curse. Shame on you guys. Seriously, if anyone's watching from Curse, shame on you. This is the first real issue I've had on YouTube, and you all took days to reply. You know how bad it was? I got faster and better and more responses from YouTube themselves through their actual support page and support, email and everything than I did from my own network. So at that point, why am I paying you guys? Why do you all take money from me every month? That's what I don't understand, because you all are supposed to be there for me, and it doesn't really help if I send you an email and 5 or 6 days later I end up getting a response. This is time sensitive stuff right here. So shame on you guys. Curse, I haven't had any issues with you until now, and at the point where then I actually need help on the channel, you guys really didn't help that much. I'll be straight up. Now my partner manager, I told him all about this, and he was really rooting for me, and he was saying, yo, Danny, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about this, and I really hope you win this whole thing right here, but there's nothing I can do. I'm just the consultant right here. I'm the manager. I can't do that. I can't, escalate these. I can't remove the strikes off your account. That's completely separate teams. I'm sorry about that. I'm really sorry that you're going through this, but keep me in the loop. I'm rooting for you on here. And you, dude, I'm not going to address you by name because I don't know if you want that out there. You're a beautiful individual, man. I love you. You're a joy to talk to. You've been great during this whole ordeal. Now, YouTube support, I was going back and forth with them. As I said, I had told them about this, and what ended up happening was then I ended up, I waited less than 48 hours later, I ended up getting a email from them. Not from YouTube, the support team, but YouTube themselves. So on July 1st, it says, Dear Mr. Mario 2011, thank you for submitting your video appeal to YouTube. After further review of the content, we've determined that your video does violate our community guidelines and have upheld our original decision. We appreciate your understanding. Sincerely, the YouTube team. So at this point, as I said right before this, I had gotten an email from the support team, and they said, you know what, we can't do anything until we get news from what happened with your appeal. So if it gets rejected, please let us know. We can escalate it. So at this point, I also had some help from one of my good friends on here. It's Lupo. He's been around the block for quite a bit. He's also produced very similar content to mine in terms of all the modding stuff right there, and he was more than willing to spend a few hours each night helping me out here for a few nights straight. So Max, dude, you're awesome. I love you so much for doing that, man. But what happened was, I showed all these to him. He was helping me out. He was crafting up some emails. We were working on all this stuff together here, and he was able to, give me some advice on all this and kind of put my mind at ease a little bit. But still, this was still horrible to go through, and it absolutely sucked dealing with all of this. But then, I got that, and I asked him, hey, what should I do? He's like, push it. So we decided to push it through, and I said, yes, please, I would like this escalated. So then after we got it escalated, a few days later, I received an email back from YouTube support. Now at this point, they said, and they screwed up my name. Okay, here's another thing for YouTube support, right? My name is Danny. Throughout this whole process, they called me Danny, they called me Adam, and they called me Michael. One of my support agents was called Michael, and they somehow messed up the name on there, but who is Adam? Somebody let me know who Adam is, because I legit don't know who this mysterious Adam is. Point is, in one of the last emails, I also told them, I was like, dude, because when they messed up my name the second time, when they called me Michael, I'm like, okay, what name do you have on file? Are you guys even working on the right case? Because you've addressed me by 2 different names so far. Anyways, I end up getting this email, and it says, Hi, Adam. I've made an appeal in your behalf to lift the strike on your videos. Apparently the decision will remain as it is. As per our legal team specialist, these videos were appropriately removed pursuant to our circumvention of technological measures policy. If you would like to learn more about the policy, please review this YouTube Help Center article. But he did seem a little bit sympathetic where he said at the end here, as a YouTube support team member, we also have limitations. I wish I had the permissions to lift these strikes. Should you have any questions, please let me know. So what happened was I ended up clicking on this article right here, and here we come to another page, which is the circumvention of technological measures. Now I'm going to read this off to you. When we say circumvention of technological measures, we're referring to tools that allow users to evade a software's licensing protocol. This can mean serial numbers, keygens, passwords, and other methods to hack software or games. What is the difference between CTM and copyright? CTM is a tool that will give users the means to access software. Copyright is concerned with the depiction of the software or the means to acquire it. If the software's interface is in the video, or there's a download link to the software in the video or video description, you may wish to file a copyright takedown notice. Now, most of the time, I don't show any actually, infringing or pirated software on these videos. And I also make sure I don't link to anything that might be pirated software on here. So that doesn't cover it. But the next part, it says, a CTM claim is appropriate when the infringed material isn't present in the video or directly linked to, but the video offers a way for users to access access it illegitimately. Now that sounds a lot like my videos. You see, I had quite a few modding videos on this channel where I showed, for example, how to flash an Xbox 360, how to jailbreak a PS3, how to use a certain flash card on a 3DS system. And all these right here, now I myself take an approach where I am anti-piracy on this channel. I don't want any of that linked, I'm not trying to link it, and I make sure that you can use backup copies of your games that you make on there. Unfortunately though, this is still circumventing some DRM that has been put in place on these closed source systems, and at the same time you are using unauthorized copies on these systems even if you legally own the original versions of them. That way it falls under that CTM claim right there, and it is not a copyright strike, it is a community guidelines claim because you are breaking that right there. So now that makes a little bit more sense, right? Why is it that it took me weeks, and why is it that it took me so many minutes to explain that to you all and figure it out? You see, that's the main issue with this right here. It just said community guidelines, terms of service, terms of use, inappropriate content, and it did not explain that this. I should have gotten an email that explained that this was the exact reason why these videos were removed, and if I got that, that would have made so much more sense, but unfortunately it didn't, because YouTube has to be as vague as possible with this stuff. Now here's the problem, right? If those videos are removed for a certain thing, okay, cool, but what if I don't know what it is? See, part of a punishment is that you have to punish someone swiftly, and then you also have to inform them why they did what they did and what they did was bad. You have to let them know what the wrong thing was. If I just know all I did was violate community guidelines, that doesn't tell me anything. Now, some people who might have followed the modding scene, all that, they might be saying, because a lot of people ask me, they're like, well, why were those videos removed? What? That doesn't make any sense. They were just tutorials. They could be fair use. They were educational. Yeah, but there's also another thing on these strikes as well too, right? You see, I noticed on my second strike that I showed on the channel, later on after this was rejected, this was tacked up right here, and it said, video content restrictions. We don't allow content that encourages illegal activities or incites users to violate YouTube's guidelines. The only depictions of such activities that we may allow need to be educational or documentary in nature and shouldn't be designed to help or encourage others to imitate them. So right there, we have videos that allegedly violate YouTube's guidelines, and now they are educational. However, they are also tutorials that I design to be set up for people to go in and follow the instructions and learn how to do all that stuff. So therefore, it violates that right there. Unfortunately, when at that point, I kind of just said, okay, I understand the content that they are not liking. I get that. Some people might also be saying, maybe it was just Nintendo. Well, here's the thing. If it was a copyright strike, with a copyright strike, you would know who it's from. It wasn't copyright strikes. They were community guideline strikes. I dealt with YouTube. It was anonymous. I didn't know who the entity was. And honestly, I really feel like it was some type of entity that represented Nintendo or was from Nintendo for these, and they were going after just with a bot of some kind and were taking down anything related to the Gateway through DS and Sky through DS to get rid of flashcart videos on YouTube. Because a lot of big flashcart videos I found related to the Sky and the Gateway that show how to set them up are now gone on YouTube. So I'm not the only one that was targeted or hit. There's been others as well too. So with that, I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to be a person here who's saying, oh, it's completely unfair. No. I understand those videos did violate community guidelines that were put in by YouTube. I understand that that is a terms of service thing. What I'm upset about is that they did not explain this, and I had to go through so many hoops and lengths to find all of this out right here. So what I did at this point, as I explained in my previous video about this, I went in and most if not all of my modding related videos that had content that was similar to this, which showed how to use an exploit to gain access to this type of system, I ended up taking down for the time being, and I probably most likely I'm going to keep most of them down. There's some videos I didn't need to take down, but I took down anyways. Point is, I took those down because I said I don't have another chance. My next chance is termination if I screw up by December. Oh, and by the way, with the second strike in place, you might have also wondered, okay, well, you were able to upload long form videos, but you also still uploaded, like you never had breaks in uploading. Here's the thing, I normally upload every few days, right? And I'm trying to keep a every 3 days schedule. What happened was when I ended up receiving that second strike, I couldn't upload anything new for 2 weeks. I mean, that stayed in effect, but I did have 3 videos on the channel that I had unlisted or privated, which I was planning to release to the public later. So over a 2-week period, I had to stretch those 3 videos out there. Then once I got my upload privileges back, I was able to upload a whole bunch of other stuff. But for that 2-week period, I could not upload anything, so I was on that restriction. Now what happened, as I said, I ended up taking down a bunch of videos I felt like ended up infringing this, which was a lot. I lost a lot of viewership, I lost a lot of viewers on there. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but I took down those videos because, as I said, I didn't have, my next option was going to be, okay, do I want to actually risk it until December, or do I want to just kind of bite the bullet now and take this real big hardship, just this punch to the gut, man. Not even a punch, just a big hole in my gut, because those are videos that I spent a lot of time on. Those are videos that, you know, some of them I'm very proud of, and I had to take down because it violates that terms of use thing. And I understand that I'm on YouTube, I have to abide by their rules. However, the problem I also have is sometimes YouTube doesn't follow their own rules, and I'm gonna get into that here in a bit. Now, you're probably wondering, where's the good news in this? Because there has to be something good out of this. Now, I originally was not going to talk about this until my strike expired. So my hope was I was going to wait until December, wait until the strikes expired and everything, and then once they, you know, glazed over, I would then talk about this. But this happened. On July 19th, I ended up getting 3 emails back to back to back, and they all said this: Dear Mr. Mario 2011, thank you for submitting your video appeal to YouTube. After further review, we've determined that your video doesn't violate our community guidelines. Your video has been reinstated and your account is in good standing. So I read that, and I read that last sentence like 5 times because I'm like, wait a minute. So that means they just took down one of my strikes. I still have another strike, and I went to my channel, and both strikes were removed, and my channel was back in good standing. And then what happened after that, I immediately looked for the Gateway and Sky 3DS videos, and all of them were back. They brought them back online. I immediately took them offline, though, so I wouldn't have to deal with this. But what ended up happening, after about a month and a half, I ended up getting those 4 problematic videos back, and I got both of my strikes removed, despite one of the strikes being rejected. But the first strike, what I see is the first strike ended up, you know, going through. For some reason, they ended up accepting the appeal on there, and that also ended up affecting the second strike, which ended up appealing that one, and it went successfully through, so I got my videos back. And honestly, I didn't care about the videos at that point. I didn't need them back. It was fine. They were old. They were outdated. I thought there were better solutions out there, but the nice thing is they were brought back, they were given back to me, and the strikes were removed at that point. Although, to be honest, I still have no idea why, and as I said, somebody ended up saying, you know, they were removed for this reason. Then I got the videos back, so at this point, it actually proves to me that YouTube doesn't even know what's going on internally. If they have one person saying something and they have another person saying something else, which that is severely just... That's terrifying, man. That is completely terrifying. Now look, I'll say these things right here. One, this has definitely taught me YouTube is not a stable platform. It's not a viable platform, and I have said this. YouTube is a paid hobby for me. I actually went out, you know, I went through high school. I ended up getting a 4-year degree. I'm very proud of that. I have a day job. I have other things I do, and yes, I do have a partnered YouTube channel. However, I'm not going to YouTube full-time. I don't want to do that for multiple different reasons, because I feel like if I'm in here every day dedicating myself to videos, I'd be a bit miserable having that be my full-time day-to-day job. And I have said multiple times, I don't want to do YouTube full-time. Maybe it's a good thing, you know, for example, there's been times where I'm frictionally unemployed. So for example, I quit a job and I have another job lined up, but I can't work at that job for a month. So you know what? I focus on YouTube, and that works out pretty well. I find that to be acceptable. Maybe if, you know, in the near future, or later on in the future, I might be unemployed for a bit, so I'd probably focus on YouTube, and I find that to be acceptable while doing other things. But I would never want to do full-time on here, and I said that before, but after this just cemented it for me that I will never do full-time on YouTube because of stuff like this. Because this doesn't just affect me. Look at other channels as well, too. There's channels that are bigger than me, there's smaller than me, and there are channels that have had over 1 million subscribers, and they get terminated just for whatever reason. And then they get an email back at one point after they raise enough hell and ruckus. They get an email back that says, oh hey, we're sorry, here's your channel back. Bye. And the problem is, sometimes it can be false flagging, sometimes it could be something 100% in the right, like the YouTuber could have violated a few things, and just because they have the right hookups at YouTube, they're able to get all those strikes removed and get their channel back. But there's other times where literally a channel will go poof like that, and then YouTube comes back and says, oh yeah, there was a glitch that was automatically terminating channels. Here you go. And that happens. And it is a complete, the thing is, if you play on YouTube's rules, I understand we're on YouTube's playground, we have to play by their rules, and that's understandable. The problem is there's been so many documented cases that they don't play by their own rules, and it screws up people, and it screws with them, and they don't know what to do. They can't do certain things. There's one YouTuber which I don't know their name. I really don't know their name. I saw them in a video recently, and unfortunately, even if I gave you all their name, it wouldn't make too much of a difference because this has been documented so many times. But for example, they got massively false flagged by a bunch of people, right? They got false flagged, and within 15 minutes, they lost their channel. You know why? Because they end up getting a few of their videos taken down, so they got a strike. And then you have to go in and you have to sign in and accept it and say, yes, I acknowledge a strike. The second strike they ended up getting, it suspended them so they could not sign into their account for 2 weeks. So at that point, they couldn't change anything. And then the third strike came in a few minutes later. So at that point, you had an account that was essentially taken down, locked out of, and then terminated within a 15-minute period, and the user could not do a damn thing about it. And it was proven that this was all false flagging, and it was not true at all, and it was all fraudulent, but hey, YouTube can't really do anything about that. The problem is, as I said, I am aware, I now see that I violated some of the terms of service. I understand that. I don't think it should have taken me so many weeks, so many emails, and so much of my time to figure that out. I think it should have been more clear cut right there. I also understand, I don't really understand how I got them back, and I know I got them back and I'm thankful for that, but the videos are not going to be back online. They are still going to be offline. I'm not going to be putting them back out to the public because I don't want to deal with something like this because I'm now familiar with that little part in the terms of service. But again, there's just so many issues with this website, and I haven't had to deal with this until now. I've known about it. I've had to, help some people out with it here and there, but my God, this is... I don't know what to say at this point, man. I really don't know what to say. This has just been such an annoyance. It's been so disheartening. It's been such a waste of time, honestly. It really has been. All those nights I stayed up with a few friends, crafting up emails, them helping me out, sending out these things, trying to take down things on my channel, changing things up around here and there, just making sure everything was okay, double, triple checking. That's time I could have allocated to other things in life. That's time I could have allocated to, creating new videos. And a lot of that time was just, was wasted. At least here, I was able to, be in contact with them. I was able to get the strikes resolved and everything, and that's great, but there's just so many things wrong with the system, man. I'm done talking at this point. I am done talking. I really hope we can just put this behind us and we'll be good to go. Unfortunately, as you all saw with my other video, those other types of modding videos that are similar to that, they're not going to be on the channel. They're not coming back to the channel. They're not going to be here in the future because I'm aware of that right there, and I don't want to deal with that again. This is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. I'm done.